About the undefeated women of Troy. Second-year head coach Lindsay Gottlieb did her best Lincoln Riley impression and brought in 7 transfers from the portal this season, and so far, so good, Jamie.
They're looking good. We got to talk to Coach Gottlieb after their last game on Wednesday, and she did say that the 7 transfers they got are doing a great job of buying into the system. Caddy Sissoko has especially really gelled and mixed in really well with this team and is picking up things very quickly. And a surprise, but not really a surprise, is Coco Adika, who is also doing really well for them as well.
Marshall has been a standout for them as well, one of the returners for USC. For Utah State, they've completely remade their roster with 9 transfers and 3 freshmen entering the Aggies program for third-year head coach Kayla Ard, along with a brand new assistant coaching staff as well. We spoke to assistant coach Andre Gibbs before they traveled to Los Angeles, and he gave us some insight into what their expectations are for this season after they were picked 11th and last in the Mountain West Conference in the preseason media poll.
Coach Gibbs said that he really likes this team, and they're doing a great job of all buying into this system. And what they're really looking for, there aren't necessarily expectations. There's no set number where they want to finish, but as long as they do their best and reach their full potential, that's what they're looking for this season.
So we're expecting a good one today for the women of Troy. When we come back, it's starting lineups and tip-off between USC and Utah State on the USC Athletics Media Network. Welcome back to the Galen Center. Nara Wang alongside Jamie Hagiya for you, and the starting lineups now, beginning with the visiting Aggies of Utah State University. 3 guards and 2 forwards in the backcourt. Tamia Robinson, a junior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Maria Carvalho out of Lisbon, Portugal, a grad transfer from Utah Valley University. And Olivia Wickstrom, a junior who transferred last season from Northern Colorado. Up front, their leading scorer this season, Mason Kimball, 5'11" guard, who is from Merrimack College, and another grad transfer forward, Abby Wall, 6'1", out of Santa Claus, Indiana. A perfect place to be from during the holiday season. And now for the women of Troy. They will start Kayla Williams in the backcourt, the UC Irvine transfer out of Torrance, California.
Representing.
Destiny Littleton, the South Carolina transfer, joins her in the backcourt, leading the way for USC with 4.6 assists per game so far. Up front, Rhea Marshall, the stud sophomore, double-double average on the season for Rhea. Okako Adika, you mentioned Coco in the opening, the TCU transfer, and the other transfer you mentioned out of Minnesota, Caddy Sissoko, leading the way with 17.5 points for the women of Troy this season. So we know that USC 5-0 on the season. On the other side of things, Utah State won their opener but have lost 4 straight. On paper, this should be a nice, simple win for the women of Troy, but as we saw on Wednesday against Penn, USC had trouble shooting the ball and the Quakers stuck around pretty much the entire game.
It was a really close game on Wednesday. I think a little bit closer than the USC coaching staff would have liked. But the women, they were able to rally after. They came back that second half really strong, were able to have their shots start falling in that second half. What they did do well was they had a lot of offensive rebounds. Even though they were missing, they were grabbing those boards in that first half. So this will be an interesting matchup today to see how this game plays out.
And one of the things that Lindsay Gottlieb told us is that she'd like to get more depth on her rotation. They have been playing a lot of players, but sometimes not as many minutes as she would like to give to some of her people down the bench, because you're always, as a coach, trying to get those players ready in case of injuries or who knows what happens over the course of a long season.
The matter of the fact is she has a deep bench. She can use any player at any time, but it is the beginning of the season. She is trying to find out which matchups work, which players they play well together, and really I think as the season goes on, we will see a more in-depth look at her bench at players playing at any time whenever they're needed.
One of the players who played for the first time in that game against Penn was Allison Mira, making her season debut. And so far this season, the women of Troy have not been great from three-point shooting, basically just under 32% on the season. And Mira, that's what she's known for. Maybe she can give USC a spark from long distance.
And that's her specialty. When you're a shooter, shooters shoot. Even if it wasn't falling, you know, it was her first game back. She did miss a couple in the beginning, but you know what? You keep on going because you have to keep her confidence high, and sooner or later those shots will start to fall.
We hope you are enjoying your Thanksgiving weekend so far. Afternoon tip-off here at the Galen Center, and the ball begins for the women of Troy. Destiny Littleton to bring it up for USC on the right wing. It'll get swung around to Adika. Rhea Marshall high post, skip pass to Littleton. The zone defense being played by Utah State right now. Inside Sissoko. She's got the mid-range jumper, and that's good for the first 2 points of the game. Smooth jumper for the transfer from Minnesota. Began her career at Syracuse, and she is from Paris, France. And there's a steal by Rhea Marshall. She's going to try and take it all the way. The nice layup at the rim. The long strides of Rhea Marshall.
Already a better start for these Trojans. Coming off 2-2 for field goals.
Now Wall trying to drive Sissoko. Kick out to Kimball. The Aggies' leading scorer will drive and get to the rim, and it's 4-2 SC by 2. Trojans going quickly. Littleton, and that's something that can't happen if you're Utah State. Littleton beating everyone down the court.
They talked about their defense being just as important as their offense this year, so you will see an emphasis on Utah State's defense, hoping to get a couple stops early in this game.
Tamia Robinson out to Wall outside the arc. Now Wickstrom trying to drive on Adika. Kimball has it with the bigger Sissoko on her. Tried to drop it off, and instead it's a turnover, and USC gets the ball. Already, I think, Jamie, we've seen a better intensity on the defensive end from USC than we did on Wednesday.
Definitely. They're starting off with a lot more energy. Wednesday they start off a lot slower, but today they definitely have that intensity, and they're coming out within this first opening minutes of this game.
Sissoko handing off to Adika. Littleton drives a lane, kick to Sissoko. Baseline jumper is good. 2 for 2 for Caddy Sissoko.
One thing I think you'll see is they ran a zone defense pended on Wednesday, so it's interesting. Maybe Utah State did a little bit of scouting and is running the same thing against them, but now they figured out how to get some scores and buckets in early.
Coach Gottlieb was definitely not that thrilled with how they did against the zone defense, so they worked on that the last couple of days. That was a 3 by Tamia Robinson there for Utah State. Makes it 8-5 USC. Littleton gets it to Adika. Now Rhea Marshall with the 12-foot jumper on the baseline. The baseline has been good so far for SC. Trojans by 10 as Robinson stepped back from 20, no good. Kayla Williams with the rebound. She'll look to push to Littleton. And now Marshall. Crossover, pull up 13-footer is good for Rhea Marshall, and a quick timeout by Kayla Ard and Utah State. So we will come back here. 7 minutes to go in the first quarter, and the Trojans lead by 7 on the USC Athletics Media Network. Welcome back to the Galen Center, where the women of Troy are off to a quick 12-5 lead. They only shot 35.5% on Wednesday against Penn. It's a different story so far, Jamie.
100% from the field, 6 for 6. This team definitely looks night and day. They're getting around the same shots in that zone, but the focus and the energy and the sharpness of them is definitely different from Wednesday. They're making all these shots count.
And now showing a full court pressure for the first time. Nearly a steal by Marshall. She'll recover back as Wall looks to drive. Good recovery by Rhea Marshall across the court on D. Now Carvalho looking to drive, and it's deflected by Marshall for the steal. Sissoko, though, has it taken away from behind by Carvalho. Wickstrom, second game starting after coming off the bench in the first 4, and then she gets the bucket.
And that's what we're looking at. We talked to Coach Gibbs. This USC team is long and lengthy, so it definitely is going to alter some of the shots, but she did a great job of stepping through, taking her time, and being patient to make that bucket count.
Women of Troy trying to set up the offense. Adika left corner. Now Littleton. High post Marshall. Littleton's wide open from 3, shoots it long, and Robinson comes down with the board. She'll push it for the Aggies. Wickstrom, the right wing 3 is off the mark. Littleton thought about it, will look inside instead to Sissoko. Now Marshall, 19-foot jumper is off the mark, but SC with the offensive rebound. That's one thing they did do well against Penn, was crash the boards. Little pick and pop action, but Littleton takes it all the way, leaves it a bit short, and now Cavallo coming back the other way.
This Utah State team is looking to push the ball in transition, get some easy buckets if they can before setting up their offense, and then giving USC time to set up their defense.
Kimball in the paint. Just got it out before a 3-second call. Now Wickstrom, the left wing 3 is no good. Littleton with the good block out and grabs the board. Kayla Williams out of Bishop Montgomery High School and then UC Irvine 2 years ago, the All Big West Freshman of the Year, was an All Big West first teamer last year.
She does a great job of setting up her team. Look at her running this offense. She's going to drive into the middle of the key.
And she will draw the foul there on Mason Kimball. And some substitutions coming in for the women of Troy. Taylor Bigby, the sophomore transfer from Oregon, and sophomore center Clarice Akunwafo out of Rolling Hills Prep, 2021 McDonald's All-American who chose USC.
They're replacing height with more height with Clarice at 6'6".
First free throw good for Kayla. That's one thing that Utah State knew that they would have to deal with, the size, the length, the athleticism of USC.
They talked about their team having a lot of offensive freedom, so they're looking to pass the ball, cut, but there's nothing really that's going to stop them from, getting into that key and definitely putting up shots against these taller post players here at USC.
Some more full court pressure as some subs coming in for Utah State as well. Christina Oliva there with the ball, the sophomore. She started the first 4 games of the season for the Aggies. Scramble for the ball, ends up with Kimball. She's got Sissoko all over her, tries to scoop it up, no good, and Sissoko gets the board. Littleton will find Williams, swing it to Bigby for 3, and there's a 3 for Taylor Bigby. Now 4 of 12 on the year from long distance.
You're looking in that zone, they're looking to protect the paint, so that's going to leave the arc wide open for 3-pointers if you can knock down these shots just like Taylor Bigby did.
Prima Chelis there, one of the other subs in for Utah State, had it. Here's Carvalho trying to drive Williams. Turnaround Jay No. Akunwafo with the big board. SC looking to push again. Littleton, right wing. She'll try the 3, and there it goes. SC extends the lead to 13. And another timeout by Utah State. USC leads 20-7 with 3:24 to go here in the first quarter. We'll be back on the USC Athletics Media Network. We're back here in the first quarter at Galen Center. USC off to a strong start, leading 20-7 against Utah State. Everything seems to be working so far, Jamie, for USC.
Right. I wasn't in that timeout, but I can assure you the coaches were talking about ways that they can get stops on defense on the defensive end. They are getting attempts down here, not as many as the Trojans, but on that defensive side, they need to get stops on the outside, the inside, any way they can to stop the bleeding.
Meanwhile, Bigby there with the big block out of bounds. Now here's Oliva. She sinks the 3, the sharpshooter from Davis, California, and the transfer from Sierra College. And there's a near steal and scramble for the ball. Utah State will end up with it as Wall grabs it, gets it to Carvalho. Allison Mira in the game for SC, guarding Carvalho, and that's a travel.
Sometimes that's all it takes, though, is 1-3 getting knocked down. They get a steal, bringing it back on the other end, although they just turned it over. Now that is getting some momentum going for these Utah State Aggies.
Utah State sticking with this 1-2-2 zone on defense against the women of Troy. Not quite the same zone defense that Penn played. They were more in a 2-3 on Wednesday against SC. Mira lights it up from 3, and it's nothing but the bottom of the net.
First shot of the game, that's what you want to see. Sink that 3, get your confidence high, keep shooting the rock.
She missed her first couple against Penn in her first game back, so a much better start in this one. And another travel there on Oliva will turn the ball right back to USC. And Bella Perkins will come in now for Kayla Williams.
Right away, we're seeing a lot of substitutions early into this game, which is a different story than Wednesday, where she had a set amount of players that were playing, but now we're getting lots of faces in this game. It's great, lots of touches for everybody.
And that is what Lindsay Gottlieb said she wanted to do when we talked to her after that game against Penn. Mira, a wrap on her arm. That's new. We didn't see that on Wednesday. We already knew about the big knee brace. And a near turnover, but the ball goes out to Perkins. Mira tried to get it inside. Instead, it'll be a turnover by USC.
So we're talking about passing angles, right? That's a tough pass from the top of the key into the post. If you swung it to the wing, maybe a little bit better post entry pass there.
So Bella Perkins from Fairfax, Virginia. Wall will take it from the top of the arc, unable to hit. Chellis gets it, back to Oliva, no. Chellis, another board, and she will get the bucket. Prima Chellis, grad transfer from Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Coy Love now in the game for SC as well. Big B right corner three is off. Akunwafo will get called for the travel. Might have been a charge if she had not been called for the travel there, as she bowled over Abby Wall.
One thing that is tough when you guys are playing, when their team is playing a zone defense, is that you don't have a man-to-man body per se to box out and rebound. So when it's a zone, you kind of have to find that nearest person to you, but that's why you see USC getting a lot of offensive boards.
And it looks like they were looking for a contact maybe for Wall as she went down, and so she will leave the game, and Tamia Robinson re-enters. Wickstrom will also take a break. So now it looks like Utah State is trying to counter with a smaller lineup, maybe some more speed to attack the USC bigs. Driving baseline was Olivia Mason just into the game, redshirt senior from Pennsylvania. And there, Bella Perkins draws the offensive foul against Oliva.
This is a smothering type of defense. This man-to-man by USC is aggressive, right? And they are playing in those passing lanes. They're not getting letting anything go by, not even those handoffs.
USC leads by 11 here as we're in the final minute of the first quarter. Bella Perkins thought about it. Will get swung around. Big B looking to drive, and it's knocked out of bounds. USC ball with 9 on the shot clock and 36 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Littleton will inbound. They've got Bella as Perkins has to find something. Shot clock running out, but the three from the right corner for Taylor Bigby.
Utah State's doing a great job, right, of running them all the way down to the bottom of that shot, the end of the shot clock, but it's just that little extra getting out, making sure you're covering that, all those outside perimeter shots as well when it gets closer to the end of that shot clock.
Oliva cutting baseline, couldn't get the reverse layup to go, but Utah State has the ball with 6.6 remaining in the quarter. Shot clock is off. Let's see what play Utah State's going to run here to try and get themselves a shot. Inbound to Chellis. Carvalho has it. 2 seconds. Driving, lays it off for Mason, and no shot attempted as USC again was suffocating defense. They end the quarter leading at 26-12. A very strong performance so far, Jamie, by USC.
This is what they want. When you come off of a game like Wednesday, you know, you make an adjustment in practices. They said they were going to have a hard practice on that Thursday and Friday and then leading up to today. So you definitely see the adjustments they have made in this zone defense on their offensive end against this zone defense, as well as, again, their defense is just so tough to score against. They're long, they're aggressive, they're playing all those passing lanes. So for Utah State, they're cutting, they're trying to find ways to get baskets and shot attempts up. It's just that they're not falling for the Aggies.
So when we come back, we'll have the start of the second quarter here. USC up by 14 on the USC Athletics Media Network. We are back here at Galen Center. Nara Wang alongside the former Trojans point guard and team captain Jamie Hagiya, bringing all of the action to you here for Women of Troy basketball against Utah State today. And what a first quarter by USC. They shot over 70% from the field, and the scoring was distributed among a few different people, but Rhea Marshall led the way with 6, along with Taylor Bigby, who made 2 3-pointers. For Utah State, they shot just 33% from the field, and they were really stifled by an aggressive USC defense.
When you look at the stat sheet, Utah State has gotten about the same amount of field goal attempts as USC, right? They were there at 15, USC with 14. It's just that conversion that Utah State is shooting that 33% and USC that huge 71% throughout that first quarter.
USC looks a lot more intense on the defensive end than they did against Penn, and it's leading to good offense as well. So Utah State begins with the ball, moving left to right on your screen here in the first half. Here's Kimball, their leading scorer this season, trying to get to the bucket. Layup just falls off the rim, and Rhea Marshall was out of bounds when she touched it. So put 20 back on the shot clock for Utah State as they try and dig into this 14-point USC lead. Kimball lost her dribble, gets it to Robinson. Robinson against the bigger Sissoko, tries to go off glass, and the tough bank shot goes for Tamia Robinson.
That spin move to get off against a taller player is a really, really tough shot, but she did a nice spin around jump shot right there off the left side of the key.
5'9" versus 6'2" on that matchup. Perkins to Bigby. Now here's Sissoko to Perkins. Marshall, free throw line J is good. Great passing by USC on that possession.
The passing, the cutting, everything is clean and crisp this Saturday afternoon.
Robinson now to Mason. Carvalho. Robinson. Here's Kimball on Sissoko. Mason thought about the jumper, pumps, and drives around Marshall for the layup instead.
That's what Utah State's going to need to do to be able to score, right? They're going to drive, they're going to penetrate, they're going to find their open man, and the long length of USC, if you pump fake and can get to the bucket, that's how you're going to get some easy shots going.
Perkins will launch from 3, leaves it a little short, and the rebound's knocked out of bounds as 2 Aggies fought for it, and USC will retain possession. Sometimes that happens. Teammates both going hard for the ball, and they knock it out of bounds. Marshall, high post, Euro step, left hand layup. Wow about Rhea Marshall.
What a beautiful move that was. Step with your right to the left, finishing with the left on that left-hand side. Beautiful.
Carvalho to Mason for the baseline J, no. And Marshall's there for the board, and Mason commits the foul, maybe a little bit in frustration about missing the open J.
You see Rhea, she just scored that beautiful Euro step left-hand layup, and down here with that defensive rebound and getting that foul. She's doing it on both ends of the floor.
Rhea talked to us about how the transition from freshman to sophomore, from bench player to starter, means that she has to start the game with intensity. She can't just ease her way into games. And now some subs back in for USC as Adika, Kayla Williams, and Allison Mira are back on to join Sissoko and Marshall. 3 is off the mark by Williams, but Adika there for the board. No good on the rebound. There's Williams to get it. Sissoko, turnaround, gets the kind bounce, and the bucket for USC. And they are doubling up Utah State, 32-16. Now Kimball looking to drive Sissoko. Too hard on the layup, and Marshall cleans up the glass. Mira up ahead. Here's a wide open Sissoko at the rim. USC off and running.
And they said that they are gelling really nicely as the season has progressed with those 7 transfers, that everyone has bought into the system and they're doing what they need to do to make to do whatever they have to do to be able to win and get as far as they can this year in this year's conference.
Kimball stutter step, but gets rejected by Rhea Marshall. Williams pushing it up. She'll Euro step her way to the bucket for the layup, and USC is up 36-16. 20-point lead here in the second quarter.
Rhea Marshall has recorded a block in 28 straight games. Let's make that 29. Let's keep it going all season long.
Rhea Marshall turning it on defensively. Here's Kimball with the 16-foot jumper from the elbow. Utah State needed that to stop the SC run. Sissoko, she tied up there in the corner. That is the call on the court. So the possession arrow will go to USC, leading by 18 here in quarter number 2. Should mention our officials today: Brenda Pantoya, Tyler Trimble, and Katie Lukarich are the 3 in the stripes. Adika will inbound to Williams.
Contact, Caddy. Wait, Caddy.
Now Rhea finds Adika left corner. Coco left corner 3. Came in shooting over 57% from three-point land, adds another one to her total. Kimball nearly had it knocked away by Sissoko, and she will travel again, trying to make the spin move.
And that key to that zone offense, when you have Rhea Marshall cut to that high post on the elbow, that's going to open it up for all of your outside shooters. So any one of them in the corners, on the baseline, on the wings, they're getting open looks.
And it also leads to maybe a high-low post action with Caddy as well. Williams has that pass knocked away by Wickstrom. She'll look to push it the other way. And she will draw the foul there on Coco Adika, who took a knee to the thigh for her troubles. And that'll be 2 shots at the line for Olivia Wickstrom. Taylor Bigby will come back in to give Adika a rest. Wickstrom on the season, an 80% free throw shooter, averaging nearly 10 points a game and just over 5 boards. She is from Bainbridge Island, Washington, and went to Northern Colorado to start her collegiate career before transferring in last season to Utah State. She knocks down the free throws, and now Utah State showing some full court pressure. Just trying to slow the Trojans up a bit. Now Sissoko against Wall will swing it to Williams, who saves it from going out of bounds. Back to Williams, right corner. Bigby, cross-court, dangerous pass, but she found Sissoko for a bucket.
That's usually a tough pass to make. That cross-court wing to opposite block on that side.
I'm not sure that's a pass that Coach Gottlieb is teaching them in practice to do, but it worked out there. And with a timeout on the floor here, 4:36 to go till halftime, USC up 41-20 against Utah State on the USC Athletics Media Network.
They're just
Back here at the Galen Center, where the women of Troy lead the Utah State Aggies by 21. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. And today, obviously, with the big football game just down the street at the Coliseum later today, the USC women's program decided to open up Galen Center, free admission to anyone who wanted to come by, take a break from tailgating, or just check out some women's hoops before you go watch the football game. And they're really trying to get that engagement with the fans. I know Coach Gottlieb in her second year here is really trying to restore the luster of USC women's basketball back to the glory days of Cheryl Miller and the McGee twins and Cynthia Cooper.
This is such a high-level, high-profile program. We should be at the tournament every single year. But what Coach Gottlieb is doing, she's doing a wonderful job recruiting the right kids that want to, as a team effort. Even though they're McDonald's All-Americans, they're highly decorated individual athletes. They are here to be a team and get as far as they can together here at USC.
Already, Rhea Marshall and Caddy Sissoko with 10 points apiece in double digits for USC. Utah State now with the ball. Tight defense by Mira on Wickstrom. Robinson ends up with it. Finds Wall, guarded by Coy Love. Here's Carvalho, pull up at the free throw line, leaves it short. And there's Rokia Doumbia into the game, getting the rebound. Looking for Sissoko, and Caddy off the board, no.
We talked about those dangerous passes, but with someone like Caddy Sissoko, you can throw it up wherever, she'll go find that ball.
Helps to be 6'2". Wall looking to drive. Will kick it out to Carvalho. Back inside the wall. Double team coming. Wickstrom pump fake, but stepped on the sideline to turn it over to USC. See Coy Love, an Arizona transfer, inbounding it. Big B gets it to Mira. And that post a little too high for Sissoko that time from Doumbia. Wickstrom, crossover, and is blocked. The recovery by Rokia Doumbia. Inside Sissoko, pumps, no. And that ball is knocked out of bounds. It'll be Aggies basketball. Caddy's missed her last couple at the rim. Robinson drives right by and gets an easy bucket for the Aggies.
Sometimes with that man-to-man defense, you're so focused on your player that if you're not checking where the ball is, you should always see where the ball, your man, and be in between the ball and your man. So if you don't see where that ball is, sometimes you won't be able to help side like that last play right there.
Love, Dumbia, Sissoko, under 10 on the shot clock. Here's Bigby driving, throws it up left-handed, throws it in for USC.
Good left-hand finish. She can shoot the ball on the outside. She can drive and finish with both hands. Very dangerous player to have.
Robinson trying to get back to the rim. That time it doesn't go for her. Dumbia gets the board.
I had asked Coach Gibbs from Utah State about their conditioning, you know, having that altitude coming down to sea level over here. You know, we're not up in the mountains, so they should. And he said their conditioning is extremely well. So you're looking at these teams to run and gun and not get tired.
Wall steps in front of the pass there to pick it off. Oliva, kick out. Wickstrom. Back to Oliva, now Wall. Utah State has been running a lot of screen action, and that time Wickstrom cut to the basket instead of popping out. So the miscommunication leads to the turnover, and USC leading 43-22, minute 43 to go in the second quarter. Substitutions coming in on both sides. For USC on the floor, Clarice Akunwafo, Taylor Bigby, Bella Perkins, Allison Mira, and Coy Love. For Utah State, Olivia Wickstrom, Tamia Robinson, Olivia Mason, Isabella Taniedo in for the first time, and Prima Chelis. Bigby to Perkins, left wing. Now inside, Akunwafo double teamed and called for the travel. She was trying to gather herself and move the feet.
That's what they're looking to do when it gets down in the paint. They're going to double team that, send in someone on the help side, make it a little bit tougher for our USC post players.
Robinson attacking the rim again. Tamia Robinson getting to the basket. She's leading the way for Utah State right now.
1 minute remaining in the second quarter.
Mira picks it up. And Love straight on three is off. Wickstrom, unforced error there, stepping on the sideline to give the ball right back to the women of Troy.
Go, 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 2 for 1. Quick, quick, quick. Shallow out.
40 seconds to go till halftime. 20 on the shot clock for SC. Ball deflected by Wickstrom there. Trojans trying to get a good shot off here with the big lead. Left corner Perkins, swing to Mira for the wide open three. That's off, and it'll go off the rim and out of bounds to Utah State with 19.5 seconds to go until the break. Robinson, the Aggies scoring leader with 9 in the first half so far. 10 to go. Trying to drive on Perkins, 5 seconds. Puts it up, no good. Rebound is taken by Akunwafo, and that'll end the first half. USC dominating against the Utah State Aggies. They lead 43-24 after 20 minutes of action. Jamie Hagiya, what has stood out to you about what USC has done so far today?
I think it's the focus and the determination coming out right from the gates, from the tip-off. They were just a different night and day team that they were really, you know, I think they were taking a lot of these same shots on Wednesday. It just the difference was they weren't falling. So you know, maybe they wanted to get some more offensive boards on Wednesday, but they don't need that today because a lot of their shots from the outside, three-pointers, inside, working that high-low post-game action in that zone is working for USC, and it definitely is a big confidence builder going into this conference starting soon.
Yes, an early start to conference on December 15th against the rival UCLA Bruins. So when we come back, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We'll have halftime stats and set you up for the second half of USC women's basketball here at the Galen Center on the USC Athletics Media Network.
ticket package is now on sale. $40 package includes one ticket to the Oregon State game on December 4th at 4 p.m. and one USC Hoops hoodie. Visit USCTrojans.com/OSU to purchase the package today. Following your favorite USC athletic teams has never been easier with the USC Trojans Game Day app. Buy tickets, listen live, and get all the latest news and updates. Customize your dashboard to follow your favorite programs or every team on campus. That's the USC Trojans Game Day app. Download it today. Now, Trojan fans, lock in your season tickets to see your USC football team back in action for the 2023 season. Place your deposits today at USCTrojans.com/tickets. All right, fans, take a look at the video board. It's time for today's first half highlights presented by Ontario Air.
Welcome back for the beginning of the second half here at the Galen Center. I'm Nar Wang alongside Jamie Hagiya for you, and USC thoroughly dominated the first half against the Utah State Aggies. 21-point lead, shooting a ridiculous 71.5% in the first quarter, 53.3% in the second quarter for a total of 62% on the game. Made 5 of 11 threes. They only made 4 on Wednesday against Penn. So a great start here as we begin the second half with Utah State having the ball. Kimball guarded by Sissoko. Here's Olivia Wickstrom. Abby Wall looking to drive on Marshall. Another big block by Rhea Marshall. Sissoko tracks it down and will bring it up. Coco Adika drives the left baseline and off the mark on the layup. Olivia Wickstrom has it for the Aggies. Tamia Robinson, the point guard leading the way for the Aggies, finds Wall for 3, couldn't knock it down, and the rebound is off Destiny Littleton, out of bounds. Same starters for both teams that started the game.
Coach Gibbs did say that even though Mason Kimball was their leading scorer coming into this, that they would be looking to all of their players. All their players can score at any point, so looking to see these other players step up for the Utah Aggies.
Robinson was their leader in scoring in the first half. Now Wickstrom against Adika. Tried to scoop it up. No, Wall is there for the board, but that's going to be a shot clock violation. Wickstrom's shot never hit the rim, so USC will take it. And again, we saw USC with some stifling man-to-man defense. Tamia Robinson led the way for them with 9 points, but no one else had more than 4.
Robinson had some really great looks at the basket, great finishes too. Adjusting to that height, hanging in there a little longer, getting creative with her way she finished that basketball.
Skip pass to Littleton. Littleton gets it to Marshall. Now Williams, top of the arc 3 is off. Sissoko has the board. Marshall, one dribble pull up is off. Here comes Kimball, Mason Kimball, double teamed, and that's gonna be a tie up. Utah State had possession to begin the quarter, so it should be USC ball, and it is.
These players have a smile on their face, getting a little aggressive out there.
Another turnover for Utah State. They had 10 turnovers in the first half. Inside Sissoko, looked like she was wrapped up there, and that is a foul called on Abby Wall. Wall was trying to get around the slender Sissoko, but a little too much with the arm on the waist. And oh, Sissoko was cutting, and the pass went right by her and all the way out of bounds to the sideline. Didn't seem like she was expecting the early pass there from Littleton on the inbounds.
Sometimes you can catch them off guard before the play even runs if the defense isn't paying attention. You can sneak in that easy pass for easy layup.
Tamia Robinson finds Carvalho driving on the dive, and that will get a foul on Kayla Williams. Williams, who transferred in from UC Irvine, was an all Big West selection the last 2 seasons for the Anteaters. Robinson will launch a 3 and bank it in. Any way you can get it, right, Jamie?
Any way you can. The bank is open.
Inside Sissoko, and she's got an easy deuce. Seven and a half minutes to go here in quarter number 3. USC leading 45-27. Wickstrom throws it up. SC coaching staff wanted to travel. They didn't get it, but Marshall will clean up the glass, and SC will push. Kayla Williams. Now Adika comes to USC from TCU, but grew up in Denmark, and the drop-off pass to Sissoko for the easy 2. Robinson trying to keep the Aggies in it single-handedly. Has the nice little short jump hook there.
If you look at their scoring for the Aggies, Robinson has 14 and 15. Well, the 2 other players have 4 right now. But looking for a little bit of help, which she just got.
Olivia Wickstrom spinning to the rim for the layup. Cutting the lead for USC back down to 16. Left corner, Littleton. Utah State in that familiar 1-2-2 zone they've been playing basically the entire game. Littleton from the right corner, and she knocks down the triple. Came in shooting under 26% from 3, but she's got too good a shot. She's going to start falling for her.
I wonder for the Utah State Aggies if they're going to try to switch up their defense a little bit, maybe try a man-to-man. We'll see what they end up doing the rest of this half.
Here goes Robinson again, can't convert this time. Sissoko grabs it, and SC's off and running. Kayla Williams leaves it off for Marshall, and she will get the foul call and go to the line to shoot 2.
Great little drop-off pass to Rhea Marshall. Kayla did a great job getting to the middle of the key. Once they collapsed and looked at her, Rhea Marshall was wide open. A little lob pass up to her.
Foul on Mason Kimball. And Kimball transferred in from Merrimack College, which happens to be, coincidentally, USC's opponent next Saturday. First free throw good for Rhea Marshall, the sophomore, McDonald's All-American, Jordan Brand Classic selection as a senior in high school out of Linwood High here in SoCal, a Pac-12 all-freshman team selection last season. And is that a lane violation called?
Yeah, I believe Kayla Williams might have stepped early over that 3-point line. Little mistakes here and there. Got a little too excited.
So Williams was outside the arc but stepped in before the shot was released. You can't do that. So a turnover by USC as they lead by 20 here. 5.5 to go in quarter number 3. Kimball gets rejected by Rhea Marshall. Rhea Marshall, I believe that's 3 blocks on the day for her.
Talk about her being local here at Linwood. You'd love to see kids stay close to home. Talking about the #1 recruit coming in, staying local.
Juju Watkins out of Sierra Canyon High School.
And Coach Gottlieb did touch on that, saying that it was great to see these kids want to stay at home.
Another block by Marshall, and Kimball just got the shot off before the shot clock expired, and that ball is going to get knocked out of bounds and remain with Utah State. So reset the shot clock to 20. Aggies will inbound with Tamia Robinson. Came in after playing at Labette Community College in Parsons, Kansas. Not many people can find that on a map, but grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, so you know she's Philly tough. USC running a set. Marshall will get it, swing it to Coco, took her eye off the ball, and it's going back to the Aggies. And we've got a timeout on the floor here. 4:51 to go in the third quarter. USC 51, Utah State 31. We'll be right back on the USC Athletics Media Network.
All right, fans, now time for the Chunga Dance Cams. Get up out of your seat and let's see your best dance move.
Working on the weekend like usual. Way out feeling deep like usual. Sweaty pants cause they doing too much.
Welcome back to the Galen Center. Nara Wang and Jamie Hagiya with you. And Jamie, one thing that wasn't as prevalent during your playing days here at USC was the transfer portal. We've seen Lindsay Gottlieb basically rebuild this team, bringing in 7 transfers. All of them are in the rotation. They're all contributing. Tell me, how is it for you seeing the new wave of college basketball and college sports in general?
Definitely different than my day. I was here, oh man, 03 to 07, 2007. Exciting enough, I was the first one my senior year. We were the first ones to play here at the Galen Center. So amazing to see the changes here. But the transfer portal is definitely new. I mean, to be able to get these kids from all over, you know, the following year is a huge deal for these coaches. We talked to Coach Gottlieb, and she did say having her NBA experience did help because she feels more like a general manager putting these players together, as well as, you know, on her coaching staff as well. So definitely giving her an edge, competitive edge there with that experience.
Yeah, for those of you who are not familiar with Coach Gottlieb's career, the 2 years she spent before coming to SC were with the Cleveland Cavaliers after a stellar 8 seasons at the University of California up in Berkeley. So
and while we're still here, can we just give her a shout out? She had a baby 5 weeks ago, and she is out here coaching this team. Absolutely incredible.
Carvalho knocks down the bucket for Utah State, but that's right. Daughter Reese, her second child with her husband Patrick, adding to the children for the Gottlieb family.
And just really, you know, she's here. She said she tries to limit a little bit with just coming to practice, to the games and some of the practices. But, you know, she said she owes, these players came to play for her, and some of these, this is their only year. So to have a coach so dedicated and wanting to be here for her players, this is why this is going to be a program at the top of the country here.
Allison Mira knocked down her second 3 of the game, and USC up 54-33. Yeah, we see a lot of her son Jordan on her social media, so we're waiting for when Reese is going to be old enough and ready to make her starring appearances on Lindsay Gottlieb's social media channels.
That's right. Be a Trojan, decked out in Trojan, Cardinal and gold, the fight on sign.
Kimball came in as the leading scorer for Utah State. USC has done a great job of bottling her up today. Carvalho, a Portuguese junior national team member. Abby Wall for 3, front rim no. Rebound is off to Kimball. Another possession for the Aggies. Robinson looking to drive on the taller Sissoko. Carvalho on the scramble, regains the possession. Gets the screen from Wall, tried to get inside, but Coco Adika reaches in and knocks it away. Now Taylor Bigby in. Tried to get it inside to Sissoko, and they're going to call it out of bounds off the Aggies. So
see Caddy putting up her right hand, right? She tried to get that on the left-hand side of her, but definitely that post-entry passes, you have to maybe fake a pass up high, go low, making sure that you get it away from the defender.
And here's Sissoko curling around, drawing the foul. She'll get 2 shots. Abby Wall will get called for her second personal foul. It's the 3rd team foul on the Aggies, with just under 3 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Sissoko knocking down her first free throw attempt of the game.
Speaking of the transfer portal, also there's a girl on the Utah Aggies who's on the Portuguese junior national team. We're seeing a lot of international players kind of come into this NCAA, you know, collegiate women's side over here, and it's really exciting. Caddy from Paris originally. We have a couple other players, but it's a really great opportunity to play here in the States. And then, likewise, on the other side, after you finish in college, you can go play overseas to play basketball professionally.
You know a little bit about that. You went overseas after your playing days at SC. Yeah, Coco Adika is from Denmark after being born in Zambia. And Rokia Doumbia is from Bamako, Mali. So USC definitely has some international flavor. And speaking of that, the Portuguese national, Carvalho, at the line for free throws. Carvalho came in shooting 60% from the free throw line. And goes 1 of 2 there. A biochemistry major, so she's pretty smart, I would say.
Doing it all on the court and in the classroom. So you like to see these student athletes do.
Now, Taylor Bigby out of Las Vegas, Nevada, gets it to Amira, the Oregon native. Inside Akunwafo, and she will draw the foul. It seems that every time the pass goes inside to Clarice, there is a crowd of Aggies surrounding her.
You'll see her catch the ball, kind of check her surroundings, but once she puts the ball on the floor, going away from her defender, you see that extra player, that help side, come over to make sure that she doesn't get an open look at the basket.
Now it looks like Utah State's gone to a 2-3 zone look. A little bit of a switch as Koi Love drives. Akunwafo with the rebound, and she will go to the line to shoot 2. Foul is called on Prima Chelis, the grad transfer. She's originally from Phoenix, Arizona. Went to South Mountain Community College and then SIU Edwardsville before ending up with the Aggies.
We spoke to Rhea Marshall. She said that the team chemistry is really great, and you see it out here. You know, these players really having a great time, enjoying each other's company, being out there and really cheering for each other. That is a huge component of doing well in the season. Having a great winning season is having a team that gets along well together.
Akunwafo misses both free throw attempts. Came in shooting 3 of 4 on the season. Now there's Christina Oliva trying to drive. Kick to Carvalho. Comes to a jump stop. Chelis. Tamir Robinson, leading scorer for the Aggies today, finds Chelis. Goes baseline, and the size and strength of Akunwafo stymies her at the rim. Love just slid there, trying to come to a stop, and called for the travel. Minute 39 to go here in the third quarter. USC comfortably up by 22. Rhea Marshall will return for the women of Troy. Sissoko will take a break. So you're going to see the 2 sophomores who came in together, Marshall and Akunwafo, on the floor at the same time. Haven't seen a ton of that this season yet for the women of Troy. And there's a travel. The drag of the pivot foot by Olivia Mason will turn it over.
Yeah, you have a 6'4" in Rhea Marshall and 6'6" in Akunwafo. That is a big backcourt.
That is a big front line for USC. So little token full court pressure by Utah State just to slow up the Trojans. Left corner, Bigby just off with the 3, but Marshall is there. Marshall everywhere, but lost the ball trying to go up. Carvalho will push. The left wing 3 is off by Wickstrom. And Love stepped on the baseline to turn it over there. So a couple of turnovers by Love on both sides on the baselines.
This is where even if you're up, you still have to be careful. You know, you can't get careless with the ball, make little mistakes for turnovers. You still want to be focused. Rhea and Chelis getting a little chippy out there.
Little bit of talk between Chelis and Marshall, and Rhea just pointed up to the scoreboard. Wickstrom finally finds somebody to inbound it. And are they saying it was kicked? I believe that was the call. It was a kick ball on the inbounds pass. So Utah State gets another chance. Oliva to inbound at this time for the Aggies. And she'll go long to Chellis. Under a minute to go here in the third. Carvalho looking to drive. Here's Mason. Now Oliva for three. Nope. Rebound is off and taken by Utah State. Carvalho. Oliva will try it again. That's deflected by Love, who was running out ahead, but first a foul in the backcourt as Mason fouled Marshall there. So USC will have the ball. 39.4 seconds to go. They can run it down, get a good shot here. Already up by 22.
We spoke to Rhea, and she said that, you know, her role was whatever she needed to do this year for this team. She'll do whatever Coach Gottlieb tells her to do, and you see her doing on both ends of the floor, rebounding, scoring, passing, a little bit of everything, which in a great player like that, that's what you want to see. And we asked her if she thinks she's a leader of this team. She said, yeah, if I need to be, I will be, but she's kind of whatever the team needs from her.
So actually that was the 5th team foul on Utah State, so the bonus for Rhea Marshall. Marshall, perfect from the line today, 3 for 3 after coming in at just 65.5%. So Utah State will have the ball with 39.4 to go in the quarter. Wickstrom pulls up the dribble, trying to find somebody, gets it to Kimball. Inside, a little too physical there by Clarice Akunwafo. The Trojans did have a foul to give there, though, so not a bad foul necessarily, but they will not have another foul now with 22.5 seconds to go in the quarter. Straight up defense by Clarice that time results in the block, and USC can hold for a final shot. Mira gets the call from Coach Gottlieb. 8 seconds to go. Here's Marshall, has it taken away, but no, a foul on Kimball. She was not happy with that call, but instead Marshall will go back to the free throw line for bonus free throws.
I think maybe a little bit frustrated for Kimball. You know, she comes into the game as the leading scorer for her team, but only has 4 today. So the USC has done a great job of shutting her down on the scoring end.
Came in averaging 14.6 a game through their first 5 games. And of course I jinxed Marshall by saying she was perfect from the line after her previous free throws, so I'll take that one. Second one goes. 5 seconds to go for Utah State here. And full court pressure, Marshall knocks it out of bounds. 1.9 on the clock. This is going to be difficult for Utah State inbounding in the corner.
Great hustle.
Let's see if the Aggies can even get a shot off here. And they will not. So at the end of 3, USC 59, Utah State 34. We'll be back with the 4th and final quarter here on the USC Athletics Media Network. Fourth quarter about to begin here between USC and Utah State. Nara Wang and the former Trojans point guard and team captain Jamie Hagiya on the call for you today. SC leading 59-34 as we're about to start the fourth quarter, and really it's been a great team effort for the women of Troy today.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of more rotations. Coach Gottlieb is playing her bench pretty deep, which is a great opportunity because there's only 3 more non-conference games before they get into that game against UCLA, the start of their Pac-12 season on December 15th. So it's the time now to kind of figure out which matchup she likes, what lineup, plays well together. So this is a great opportunity for all these players to get touches on the ball.
Sissoko and Marshall both in double figures scoring for SC, only Tamia Robinson for Utah State. Wickstrom launching from 3, no good. Battle for the rebound is going to be out of bounds and USC basketball. And Coach Kayla Ard obviously probably frustrated by the team's performance, but she's also battling back from the flu, so we hope that she's feeling better, but obviously she'd like to be seeing her team doing a little bit better in this one against SC. Inside, Marshall up strong and down.
It's tough with a matchup, the height difference. We were talking about in conference they won't see so as tall, as active, aggressive players. So hopefully that this will be a great learning lesson for them going into their conference play.
16 points now to tie Sissoko by Marshall. The long 3 by Robinson is off, and Coy Love comes away with it. And there's a turnover by SC as Tamia Robinson will push it. Olivia Wickstrom lost the handle, finds Kimball. Kimball didn't take the pull-up and switched her pivot foot. That's a traveling call. And you can just see the frustration on Mason Kimball's face. Just not has gone her way today.
They're getting great ball movement. They're finding their open players. It's just that their length is really, every way they turn, each way they pivot, there's a USC player long, tall, right in front of you, in between you and the basket, which makes it tough to get any shots up.
Here's Love, hand off to Perkins, gets the screen from Marshall. Littleton, the South Carolina transfer, drives hard, gets fouled, and she'll get a couple of free throws. Destiny Littleton was a member of the national title winning team for Dawn Staley at the University of South Carolina last season. So she brings that championship experience to the real USC, Jamie.
We look at when the last time they've been at the NCAA tournament, and was 2014. I was lucky enough to go in 2005 and 2006, but in 2014, we want this program, we should be there every single year. But with this team, it looks like it's headed in the right direction with all the new recruits coming in, the coaching staff, everything, and that is gelling really well. So expect to see some great things from USC in the future.
Littleton knocking down both free throws. And the steal by Destiny Littleton. Sneaking from behind Isabella Taniedo. Bella Perkins. And there's going to be a foul away from the ball on Mason Kimball. Having a hard time trying to guard Caddy Sissoko in the post. So 2 quick team fouls in the first 2 minutes for Utah State. Sissoko gets the inbounds and knocks down the 16-footer.
That's what we were talking about. If the defense isn't set up and ready to go, sometimes you don't even need to run your play. A quick inbounds pass.
And Carvalho answers on the other end for the Aggies. And there's a dangerous pass. Interception by Robinson. And she avoids Rhea Marshall and scoops it up and in.
Great adjustment for the 5'9" guard there. Hanging in there a little bit extra, extending that right arm out, getting that layup up and over Rhea Marshall.
Coy Love has it. Now Perkins left corner. She'll dribble it out all the way to the top of the key. Littleton pumping the 3. She'll take it this time, and the long 22-foot three-pointer by Destiny Littleton.
And that's a dangerous guard to have. Someone can shoot the three that far behind the line. They have to be guarded at all times and all parts of the floor.
Step through by Wickstrom, no good. There's Marshall up ahead of the pack. Lay it up, lay it in. Rhea Marshall with 18 on the game. And that's going to lead to a timeout by Utah State. 6:58 to go in quarter number 4. SC has extended it out to a 70-38 lead here on the USC Athletics Media Network.
All right, fans, take a look at the video board. It's time for today's assists of the game. Presented by State Farm. All right, man, it's now time for the Terran Super Shuffle. Let's see if you can call the ball that is hiding the SC logo. It's super because there are 3 rounds. Good luck. Start to build. Let's see what happens. A little bit of history here with just 3 of the basketballs in play. Hold up your fingers. You put up 3. You got the first one right. Ready now for round number 2. Make it a little bit harder. Sort of graduated middle school with 4 basketballs in play. And it's done. And it's going to move over one to the first spot.
Yep.
So he went 3 and 1. Right so far with our final.
Welcome back to the Galen Center, where USC is leading 70-38 over the Utah State Aggies, completely dominating the game on both ends of the floor so far. They've got 62% shooting for USC overall from the field, knocking down 50% of their threes. On the other side, the Aggies just 30% from the field and only 3 of 14 from long distance. So really, this is the performance that Coach Gottlieb was looking for coming out of maybe a lackluster performance against Penn on Wednesday.
And we got to see them play. Talking to some of the fans here, some of the longtime fans that have come, they said this is not what USC has looked like at all this last season. So Wednesday was a fluke. That first half, they came out flat, but now a much improved, a much invigorated team that's starting out and be able to holding this throughout this entire game.
Setting the plate well for the big football game to come later today between USC and Notre Dame at the Coliseum.
It's an exciting time at campus. We were able to walk through before, all the tailgating going on. You know, it's free for anyone who has a ticket to the game here, so it's great to see some of these fans come out to support the women's basketball before that big game tonight.
Kimball gets the layup for Utah State there. Cut it down to a 30-point USC lead. Clarice Akinwafo, there's the high-low post pass I was talking about, and Sissoko has to scramble to recover but gets the bucket. Caddy Sissoko now with 20 points on the day to lead the women of Troy. Tamia Robinson, the leading scorer, with 16 for Utah State, trying to attack Perkins. Looked like she traveled, and there's the call. Too many steps as she was trying to back down Bella Perkins.
And we've seen the USC defense force multiple turnovers that way, getting a lot of travels called a jump stop, come to a pivot, but in looking for their open teammates, take a couple extra steps to force those
18
turnovers.
Aggie turnovers on the day.
Just move it, punch it, let's go, move it, move it.
USC has committed its fair share of turnovers, though, 16, so I'm sure that's something that Lindsay's going to talk to the team about to clean up before they go into their next matchup. And Perkins nearly threw it away, gets it back. Now ball's on the floor. It's going to be a tie-up situation, and possession will go for USC. The Trojans' next matchup is going to be here at home on Wednesday against California Baptist, and then they'll play next Saturday against Merrimack. Left corner three by Perkins, no good. Littleton rebound. Koi Love, 16-foot jumper, no good, and Akunwafo takes a tumble, getting the rebound. She tripped over Olivia Mason there. Looks like she's all right, though. Don't want to see anyone get injured here at the end of a big blowout win. So looks like SC will just take a timeout to settle things down here as they lead by 32, 5:25 to go here in the fourth and final quarter. You're listening to and watching the USC Athletics Media Network.
Foul is called on the Aggies number 12, Olivia Mason. Third personal, third team foul. It's now time to present today's play of the game, brought to you by Light Flaw. And that was today's play of the game, brought to you by Light Flaw.
So we're back here as the referees were going to the replay monitor to take a look at something. Not sure if they were looking at Clarice Akunwafo being tripped up there, if there was anything further with that play. I didn't really see anything more than just someone falling to the ground and another player tripping over them, but we'll see what they're going to talk about here. Is it looks like they're going to bring both coaches over to discuss the play. Again, not exactly sure what they're discussing.
There could be a challenge happening. There we go. They've been bringing it all game along.
I think there actually might be a technical foul called, but we'll wait and check for the official call. It's Destiny Littleton's lining up at the line.
Yeah.
Intentional foul.
So there's going to be an intentional foul called, which will give USC free throws and the ball.
At the line, number 11, Destiny Littleton. Shooting 2 free throws.
So Littleton will get 2 free throws. And she makes 1 out of 2. Now 3 of 4 from the free throw line on the game. USC will retain possession after all of that.
Women's ball at midcourt.
So the Trojans up 73 to 40. 5:20 and counting to go. Utah State back to the 1-2-2 zone. They've shown most of this matchup. Over the top pass for Love. She tried to get it across to Akunwafo, but a little too strong and throws it out of bounds.
You know you have great post players when you can just lob it up cross court all the way across the defense.
Olivia Wickstrom handling for Utah State to Carvalho. Robinson to Wall. Carvalho is going to take the 3, long on the shot, but hustled there by Mason to try and grab the rebound, but she was on the baseline, so USC will take the ball. Allison Mira will now check in for Destiny Littleton. A little full court pressure being shown by the Aggies. Mira right off the bench.
Punch the gap. Come on now.
SC looking for some movement here, and Mira, the three-pointer is pure for Allison Mira.
Bella out. Bella.
SC now showing a 2-3 zone of their own, so a chance for Coach Gottlieb to work on a different defense here with the big lead. Rokia Dumbia will enter for Kayla Williams. One of the things you like to see with the big lead is getting a lot of different players in and getting some important minutes for them. Akunwafo swings it to Mira. Here's Love. Bella Perkins, the left wing three is in and out, and Mason corrals the board. Robinson will push. Right corner, Olivia Wickstrom drains the three. Wickstrom with 9 points today for the Aggies. Second leading scorer to Robinson. Perkins, little crossover in front of Wickstrom. Here's Love, Bella left wing. Right corner, Dumbia. Back to Mira, 5 on the shot clock. Love, top of the key, 3 is nothing but the bottom of the net. SC pouring it on, 79-43 is the lead here. 2.5 to go in the game. Wall picking up her dribble. Wickstrom finding Wall on the right side. Perkins with the block shot. Goes right to Wall, but that'll be a shot clock violation and another turnover as Bella Perkins coming up with her first block of the season.
And that's the nice thing about having Koila be on the inside. When she comes up to the top of the key, you know, at the elbow, she can extend all the way up to that three-point line, seeing her knock down that open three, that last possession.
Coming up on 2 minutes to play here at Galen Center. USC on top, big against the Aggies of Utah State. Clarice Akunwafo over the back there. And into the game, Taylor Bigby to replace Coy Love. SC had Dumbia showing full court pressure. She'll get the rebound off the miss. And she'll take it all the way. Left hand, no. Mason flies in to grab the board. Almost traveled, but got it up ahead to Chellis. Wickstrom, 3-point from the wing. Another three, good for Olivia Wickstrom.
Now it seems that all their threes are starting to fall. Too bad it's a little bit too late in the game, but it's great still for them to get all these shots and these buckets in.
Now Mira finds Perkins. Back to Allison, the senior from Oregon. And that ball is deflected out of bounds. It'll go Utah State's way. And here's India Otto making her first appearance, taking over for Allison Mira. Otto, the journalism major, pays her dues in practices for USC. It's always good to see her get into a game. SC settling into this 2-3 zone. Christina Oliva, no good on the pull-up. Rebound is off. Mason has it. Mason puts it back up and in. Perkins will push it up. Bigby's there, and she does not convert. 30 seconds to go here as Robinson puts it off glass. No. Up ahead to Otto. She's got a shot if she wanted. She didn't take it. And Coach Gottlieb is saying to just back it up. Shot clock is off. This game is in the books. It's going to be a 79-48 victory for USC. What most impressed you today, Jamie, about the women of Troy?
I think their ability to bounce back coming off of a slower game, even though it was a great win for them on Wednesday, to come back with so much, the aggressiveness and the confidence that that they are building. I'm really looking forward to seeing them the rest of this season.
After a struggle shooting it against Penn on Wednesday, no such issues tonight, or today rather, at Galen Center for USC. The final score, 79-48. We'll be back with a post-game here on the USC Athletics Media Network. Welcome back here for the post game of USC and Utah State women's basketball. The Trojans made their first 6 shots of the game and never looked back on their way to a big victory at home, 79-48 over the visiting Aggies. And what a turnaround from Wednesday when they struggled to shoot the ball against Pennsylvania. Today, 56% from the field, 10 of 21 from three-point land. They held Utah State to under 32% shooting overall and just 5 of 19 from long distance. For USC, they were led by Caddy Sissoko with 20 points, 6 rebounds. Rhea Marshall, the sophomore, tallying 18 and 7. Kayla Williams had 7 assists to lead the way in that department for SC, and Destiny Littleton, the South Carolina transfer, had 14 points, went 3 of 4 from three-point land. Taylor Bigby also 2 of 4 from long distance. as well. On the other side, Utah State, Tamia Robinson had 16, Olivia Wickstrom in 12, but leading scorer Mason Kimball was held to 6 points for the Aggies as we saw a complete performance, both ends of the floor by USC, and I would have to say that there's going to be very few things for Coach Lindsay Gottlieb to be unhappy about after this game.
Right. I was just thinking about that. The coaching staff must be thrilled with this game. I know, as perfectionists, there's little things that we need to clean up. Maybe the turnovers here and there, little mistakes, but other than that, you can't really ask for too much more on the offensive and defensive side. I think that's one telling side of a team is you could have great offensive players, but to be able to compete and put on a defensive performance game after game and make it difficult for your competition, that is a sign of a championship team.
They'll play next on Wednesday against Cal Baptist and finish off the homestand on Saturday against Merrimack College before doing some more action on the – actually, they'll have another home game against San Jose State before starting conference play against UCLA at home as well. So it's a nice long stretch of a homestand for USC, and as a team that was only picked to be 9th by the media in the preseason poll, they're looking to prove something after last year's 10th place finish in the Pac-12. They want this to be a tournament team, and so far, do you think that SC has the pieces to compete in a loaded Pac-12?
Absolutely. Being able to watch this team even develop, game after game, they learn from the last game, cleaning up things and different adjustments made in a turnaround of a couple days is really a big accomplishment. Talking to the team and the players and the coaches, they really just have that team chemistry and the players and the pieces to do this, to make a turnaround season, and really make a run, a deep run in conference and this season. So we're looking for a really excited and hopeful class and team this year. I'm really excited to see the future of this team under great leadership as well.
And if you were looking for something to whet your appetite before that football game against Notre Dame down the road at the Coliseum coming up at 4:30, just under 2 hours from now, I think this game did it for you as USC gets the day off to a great start for Trojan Athletics with a 79-48 win over Utah State. Jamie Hagiya, it was fun getting to call this one with you.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Love being out here, love being back in the home floor. USC Trojans, the tradition, the network, the community, everything about it is just bleeds Cardinal and gold for me here.
So for Jamie Hagiya and our entire USC Athletics Media Network crew, I'm Nara Wang saying so long from the Galen Center, where today the women of Troy win 79-48. Stay tuned for more action on USC Athletics Media Network, and we'll see you next time here with USC Women's Basketball next on Wednesday at 7 p.m.